Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal. Welcome to Gyanvihar School of Education. And today my topic is listening skill from the subject pedagogy of a school subject, English. So students, we all know that in English language we have four major skills which are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And they are very important for a teacher as well as a student and prospective teacher to understand the importance of all these skills. So, in today's lecture, I will cover the listening skill, and in today's topic, my learning objectives would be to enable you students to comprehend the concept of listening skill as well as differentiate different types of listening skills. And students, you must also understand the importance of listening skill and how it is important and how it is different from listening and hearing. So learning outcome would be really appreciable if you understand all these things, and if you comprehend and differentiate and understand the concept of listening skill. So let's start it. A listening skill is very important skill in teaching English language. So let's understand it, students. Now, listening. So, first of all, it's very important to know that what is the listening skill. So, listening is the most important communication skill. Just imagine, students, that a teacher is not able to listen to students' queries or students' any of the important talk that the students want, the teacher must listen. And in the same way, just imagine that students are not listening anything whatever the English teacher or any language teacher or any subject teacher is speaking to them, and they are not listening. So it is actually something that somewhere the communication is not proper. So that is why listening is the most important communication skill in English teaching as well. So we probably spend more time using our listening skill than any other kind of skill. So this is something that when we listen to other people, we comprehend some ideas, we get some concepts. So listening is also taking practice. It needs practice. We have some kind of ideas within ourselves that there is something like reading and speaking or writing, they need only practice. But my dear students, I would like to tell you that listening also takes practice, and real listening is an active process. When you are listening, that means you are very much attentive and you are paying attention to full fledgedly. So listening requires your attention. When you are listening, you cannot think about anything else, or you cannot distract yourself towards any other situation or any other sound. So listening is actually enabling you to understand the concepts in a very smooth way. If the listening is proper, then the concept grasping is also smoother and to some extent. So let's understand it about more. Now let's discuss about what is effective listening. So there is one word, listening. Okay, I can listen the sounds and I can differentiate, and from the beginning I have just denote the sound which is when the A alphabet is here. I just understand that this is called A, as well then in continuation B, C, D, E, F, and all the alphabets which we have understood in our primary classes. So, students, just understand that effective listening is the process of analyzing sounds. And when we are analyzing the sounds means that we are very much understanding the concept that what are the vowel sounds, what are the consonant sounds, and now we organize them in recognizable patterns. So this is the sound relates to particular pattern, and there is another sound which relates to another particular pattern. So interpreting the patterns and understanding the message by inferring the meaning. So when we are listening, Definitely human being sound is different and an animal sound is different, or maybe a bird sound is different. So what we are doing, we are analyzing the sound. So just recognize the sound. When we just want to actually teach to our students, then sometimes it happens that we are making some sounds and we are just asking the students recognize the sound. Whose sound is this? So actually this is a very good innovative practice when we are teaching through playway method, that we are telling the students to analyze the sounds. But just remember how they analyze, because they have heard it many times, they have listened it many times, and now they are able to recognize them well, recognize their patterns and organize them very well. So many of the problems we experience with people in our daily lives are primarily attributed to ineffective listening or lack of listening. So this is the main problem in today's scenario, that people are actually not listening anything very effectively. It makes a lot of difference, students. So when we are not going to listen anything effectively, how can we think that we are going to understand any concept in a way good way that we actually want to do that? So listening effectively is a very unique thing, and believe me that if you listen properly to someone's sounds or someone's things, whatever the person is talking to you, then the idea is more clearer to you. So this is something that you must remember, that effective listening in daily lives and when you are teaching or when you are learning your academic activities, it is very important to listen to someone, or to listen to some voices, or listen to your students, or listen to your teachers. So this is something very very essential nowadays, that is lacking somewhere. Now, students, let's talk how these skills are in order. The first and the foremost communication skill that we learn in our lives is nothing but listening. Just imagine a child is born, and what do we do? Do we tell the child to write? Do we tell the child to read? Or do we tell the child to speak? No, we don't do that. The child is just born, okay, the we just pamper the child and we just make sound, oh my baby, and this and that, in so many different ways by the people and family member. So what is it? It is just listening. The child is only listening and listening. This is actually the first skill after taking birth that any human being does or acquires. So listening skill comes first and top most. Then when the child is listening and child is catching some sounds, and through lip sync mode, also through just saying that the people are speaking this word, are making sound, a particular sound on doing something. If you're doing, if the child is not doing something that is proper, then generally we say no. So no is something actually producing a sound no when you are not doing appropriate thing. But on the contrary, if I say good, very good, so that means there is something that has happened, and the child gets the idea, okay, then this sound will come. So listening is a fantastic skill, and just believe me, students, as much as the exposure is given to any child in the beginning years of his life, then only the listening becomes very solid. And just believe me that is along with listening, there are another three skills which are equally very much important in later stages of life. So they also develop very beautifully. So listening is first and for most communication skill. First you should listen, then you go to speaking, then you go to reading, then you go to writing. So this is the sequence that we follow in our teaching skills as well. So now listening is not hearing. Now students, this is very tricky or sometimes confusing that you people understand that hearing and listening are same. So it is not like that. Listening and hearing is not same. So according to Elmhurst College in Learning Center, listening and hearing are not the same. They are not the synonyms, students. So hearing is the first stage of listening. Hearing is first stage. Remember my words. Hearing is the first stage of listening. Hearing occurs when our ears pick up sound waves which are then transported to our brain. This stage is our sense of hearing. When we are actually just listening and when we are just actually recognizing or we are feeling there is some sound, it means here. But as we actually grasp that sound's meaning with the help of our brain, then thing becomes listening. So this is the first stage. Just remember, listening comes later on. Before that, hearing comes. And hearing occurs when we actually pick up some sound. Sound waves are just coming. Okay, some water is flowing in the river and we are just feeling that. So it's not listening. It's just hearing that sound waves. Okay, but let's talk about listening also. So listening is a communication process, and to be successful is an active process. So listening is done for communication purpose. Hearing is okay, you are feeling the sounds, there is some sound and your ears are very well versed with those sounds that are coming continuously or frequently. So but listening is a communication process, students, and to be successful, an active process. It means if you are an active listener, that means if anyone is asking something to you, first you have to listen that question very actively, okay, without distracting yourself. So in other words, we must be an active participant in this communication process. So when you can become active participant, you can only be active participant, students, when you are listening well, without being distracted and with full attention. So whatever is being told to you, you have to listen that in particular disciplined manner. Okay, so in active listening, meaning and evaluation of a message must take place before a listener can respond to a speaker. So we are definitely expecting that listening in active listening means that attention is not diverted by the student, and meaning and evaluation of a particular message must take place before a listener can respond to a speaker. That means meaning should be clear, whatever is there. So how can this happen? The question is that. So therefore the listener is actively working while the speaker is talking. Now as I'm talking to you, I'm producing some sounds and those sounds are very much familiar to you. And now you are students understanding them without losing your attention level. This is called listening. So how can this happen? It's very simple. Now our thought speed is much faster than our speech speed. There is a difference. So but you must be careful. We have seen many students in the classroom, students that they are physically present in the class, but mentally they are not present there. They count as absent because they think something else. So it is said that our thought process is much faster. We think various ideas in numerous ways, and this is really very unique in human beings. You are listening to my speech, but there is definitely a chance that there is another thought in your mind, maybe related to your family members, maybe your own studies, maybe any other kind of stress that you are dealing with in your day-to-day life, or maybe it is daily routine, or even if these are not the matters, maybe you are just thinking in a very simple way. So listening will be definitely disturbed. So this is something that how you can control. So the only way is to don't allow the thought speed to race into the daydreaming. Those who think more, they daydream, they are not good listeners, students. So this habit, if you are daydreaming and if you are thinking lot in your daily life, thinking lot will actually defeat our attempt to become an active listener. So, meditation will help you a lot in this process. So, listening will become more active, and for a student, it is must to have a very good listening throughout the lecture, throughout the class, whatever the teacher is speaking. Okay. Now, next is we are talking about basic communication skills students profile, that how the communication is done and in what way the order it is learned. Just see the difference in all the four skills. Although today's lecture is focused on listening skills only, but we cannot deny the interrelatedness with other skills also. So we are going to see how in which order the particular skill is learned, and then extent use how it is done, and then extent taught how it is done. So first of all, if we are having listening skill, I have already told you that it is the first and foremost skill that is learned for a communication skill. Then speaking comes at second part. The child starts speaking after hearing the sounds, after listening the sounds actively. Then reading is the third stage and writing is the fourth stage. That means now the maturity in skills are coming and the child is able to write also. Okay. Now extent used, when we are talking about listening, extent use is also first in order, and then extent taught, it comes in fourth order, because it becomes a little in reverse manner. You just think as a student and then as well as teacher. When I am speaking, I'm listening, so it is little the content the context is actually reversed. So then speaking order learned is second, extent used is second, and extent taught is third one. Then reading is the third order, and extent used is third again, and extent taught, that is second. So this is something how the teacher teaches. You just remember your teacher taught you A for apple, how to write first. So just see that in reverse order. And then you were reading A for apple along with drawing some beautiful lines on your paper. And then speaking, the child was speaking, you were speaking. Okay, A for apple. And then listening is also working along with that. Okay, so reading is third and writing is fourth in these communication skills profile. So being language students, you must understand how how all these skills work together when we are understanding the English language. I always keep telling you that English is a foreign language students, and you must understand that that when you want to acquire proficiency in this language, you must understand the skills also. Okay, now let's proceed further. And now there are some fallacies. Now fallacies is something that is not to be true, but we are just believing. Okay, so there are some fallacies about listening students, and many of us think about that, like first of all, listening is not my problem. Okay, my ears are well and I can listen very well, so listening is not my problem. It can be a problem. Maybe I'm thinking so many things when I'm listening, so my listening mode is converting into hearing mode also in between. Then there is definitely a problem. I don't know when someone is speaking, the person is speaking, but the message is not conveyed to my brain, and I have not received the proper message. And just relating my listening to my ears efficiency is not enough much. Okay, so students, just don't be have this fallacy that if your ears are well, your listening is well. So don't say ever my listening is not my problem. It can be my problem when I have number of thoughts, when I'm listening, my attention is not well, my focus is not well, where whatever my teacher is speaking. All right. Now, second fallacy about listening is listening and hearing are the same. As I have told you, the difference that hearing is something that our ears pick as a sound only. But listening is something my ears are giving message to my brain. Okay, this sound is giving this message. This has a appropriate code of message. So that's what I'm understanding. So, listening and hearing are not the same. So, just understand this difference. Okay. Now, next is good readers are good listeners. Yes, it is also a fallacy. Maybe I'm a very good reader. I can read a book in a one day, and my vocabulary is also increasing by that. But it is not actually very surely can be said that I'm a good listener also. Maybe I'm more happy in my reading skills, but I can't listen. I don't have that patience. So maybe I'm not active in that. And so many, as I read more, so many thoughts are arising in my mind when I am listening to someone. So this is a fallacy, total fallacy, students, that good readers are good listeners also. They might not be listening. Okay, they must be reading well, but they might not be listening properly or maybe with good attention. Now, second fallacy about listening is smarter people are better listeners. Now, what is the definition of smarter people? Who speak nicely, who listen nicely, and who communicate actually nicely, who have a good knowledge about anything. So smarter people are better listeners. We cannot say. Maybe they are having their another good skills with them, another professional skills with them, but we cannot be so sure that smarter people are better listeners. Okay. Now, next fallacy is listening improves with age. So listening improves with age. How can we be sure about it? This is total of fallacy, students. As we are growing up, it is improving. No, it is not like that. Listening is something that is actually happening with us when we take birth. The child is listening, the child is growing, and the child is continuously having that listening. So listening improves with age. Listening skills are difficult to learn. This is the another fallacy that I'm talking about. So this is just as I have told you that this is fallacy. So listening skills are difficult to learn. This is not difficult. People think that we cannot listen attentively. The question is that why people cannot listen attentively, because our mind is like that when we are actually listening. So by that time also we are producing number of thoughts in our mind. So those thoughts actually keep disturbing our listening skill, and we don't get that proper idea whatever it is required. Okay, students. So fallacy about listening, I hope you have understood. Now let's proceed further. Now, objectives of listening. Why do we listen? Is there really any particular objective that is set for listening skill? Yes. So first and foremost thing, that is to learn. Just imagine you are losing your listening skills. You cannot hear. Okay, all right, your ears are okay. Your efficiency is proper. But even then, you are not recognizing the sounds. You cannot listen unfamiliar language more than 2 or 5 minutes. You will just say, I don't understand what they are speaking. So, if we want to understand the English language, we have to listen more and more. Actually, it is some sort of training to our ears to understand something in English language, and it will be available only if we are training our ears to understand those words and concepts by listening. So, to increase one's understanding, it is very important to listen well, and to advise or counsel, it is very important to listen well. If we want to advise someone, if we want to give counseling to someone as our students maximum need, then you have to listen to them very, very carefully. Just imagine, students, that when you will be right now you are prospective teachers, but one day you will be a very good teacher. But then just imagine when as a teacher one of your student approaches you and talks to you about his or her problem that he or she is facing. Then how can you solve that problem as a teacher, the child who has come to you with full confidence in you? First of all, you have to listen to that child and you have to understand. If you're not listening, how can you advise and how can you counsel that student? All right, so it is very, very important to listen well, not only from the part of student but from the part of teacher also. Okay, then next objective is to relieve one's boredom. Yes, exactly. It is release one's boredom. Listening to music. When I'm listening to music, I'm more happy. Because I'm paying full attention to the rhythm, to the music, to the sound, and to the lyrics, which I'm feeling, and I'm just enjoying that. So sometimes listening has this objective also, that I'm doing my favorite hobby. I'm listening to music and it is reducing my boredom, and it is a beautiful objective of listening. Okay, students. Now, what do research findings tell us? 1/4 of our walking time is spent in listening. So this is said 1/4 of our waking time is spent in listening, as much as we are waking up. This is like we are in a live position. So we spent some time in listening. So research shows that the workplace on an average personnel spend about 32.7% of their time listening. 32.7%. It's not a small percent of their time listening. 25.8% of their time in speaking. Yes, and 22.6% of their time in writing. So it is more, students. We listen so much. So effective listening is the most crucial skill for becoming a successful manager. It requires paying attention, interpreting, and remembering sound stimuli. So this is something that requires students that if you are listening more and more, it is making you successful in many fronts of your life. So it requires paying attention. The one and important thing you must remember, if you are more focused, more attentive towards any of your listening content, then you will be able to understand that in a more appropriate way. Okay, so this was about research findings that we have seen that 32.7% of the time people spend in listening, either it is at workplace or anywhere, home or any environment. Now, students, it's the time to understand about the importance of listening. So, why it is so important? We have seen the objectives. We have seen how listening plays an important part. We have seen the order, how we learn different skills in different orders. So, communication is not complete without effective listening. If I'm telling you and if you are not listening that in a proper way, what is the use of my telling something? So understand it, communication is not complete without effective listening. An attentive listener stimulates better speaking by the speaker. If you are attentively listening, then it is definitely stimulating your knowledge to speak, or it is definitely stimulating you to arise your curiosity also and develop your interest also in the content that your teacher is teaching. And if you are understanding, if you are listening well, only then you will be asking questions. Otherwise, it is not possible, students. Okay, so a good listener learns more than an indifferent listener. Just this is a research, students, that those who do not listen well in the classroom, their actually scorecard is not so good. And those who listen well in the classrooms, their scorecard is pretty well than others. So it is a big difference. Now, a good listener can restructure vague speaking in a way that produces clearer meaning. Sometimes it happens we are listening, but we are not getting the clear idea, clear concept. But if I'm listening properly and attentively, this is very important, students. You must remember, if I'm listening attentively, then I will be able to restructure that idea in a proper way and with clearer meaning, which I am understanding. All right. So a good listener learns to detect prejudices, assumptions. Okay, so these are the things that if I'm listening properly, I will not be prejudiced. Prejudiced is something that when I'm taking favor of something in one way only, because I have not understood another aspect of the problem. So this is the thing that you must take care, students. All right. So this is the importance of listening. And now, what is real listening? Let's talk about it. Real listening has 3 basic steps, students. What is real listening? First, hearing. First of all, I told you, first stage is hearing. And then secondly, understanding. And thirdly, it is coming to judging. So this is actually the set how you listen. First, hearing, and then understanding, and then judging. So when it comes to hearing, hearing just means listening enough to catch what the speaker is saying. For example, say you are listening to a report on zebras and the speaker mentioned that no two are alike. If you can repeat the fact, then you have heard what has been said. So this is hearing, just catching the idea. Okay, then understanding. The next part of listening happens when you take what you have heard and understand it in your own way. Let's go back to that report on zebras. When you hear that no two are alike, think about what that might mean. You might think maybe this means that the pattern of stripes is different for each zebra. So this is something we are talking about, zebra, an animal. So first of all, hearing that no two zebras are alike, we have just catch a sound. But in second part, we are just, it is shifting to understanding and why it is not the same. We are understanding that. Then we are understanding, we are thinking about the stripes. Maybe the stripes are not same. All right. Then judging is the third part when we are listening, it is in the process. So after you are sure that you have understood what the speaker has said, think about whether it makes sense or not. So just do that also. Keep judging also. Do you believe what you have heard? This is an important question you keep asking from yourself. You might think, how could the stripes be different for every zebra? But then again, the fingerprints and are different for every person. I think this seems believable. So this is the third process that I have covered in my listening, and then it becomes real listening when your hearing shifts to judging, and along in middle part this understanding comes. Okay, so understand, students, real listening is composed of 3 basic steps: hearing, understanding, and judging. Now let's talk about active listening process. So active listening process have some steps, students. First of all, hearing, then filtering, Whatever it is of your importance, you are just catching that. Then comprehending or understanding the concept, as I have given you the example of zebra last slide. And then remembering. You have learned and you have remembered it. You have understood that. And now the fourth active listening process includes responding also, because if you have listened well, then only you are able to respond. Okay. Now students, hearing and filtering, let's understand them one by one. Hearing is the first essential step in the listening process and relates to the sensory perception of sound. The listener further processes the perceived sound. For learning to be effective, hearing needs to be done with alternatives and concentration. So this is something, the first step I told you in the beginning, but very essential step. Now it is related to sensory perception of sounds only. We are getting the idea, just a bit idea of for sounds only. Okay. Then filtering. Filtering process is the next step after hearing. It involves sensing and filtering of heard sounds. The heard message is categorized as wanted or unwanted. You have decided it, this is not related to me, or this is, yes, of course, this is related to me. So the unwanted message is discarded by the brain. The sense of judgment of the individual comes into play. Now I'm deciding it myself that whatever is being spoken, whichever part is important for me, or I can say that wanted by me, I will keep it with me, and with the part which is not important for me, I will discard it. Okay. So the sense of judgment of the individual comes into play. I told you in the earlier slide that judgment is very important part of real listening. So that is, the filtering process is subjective and a person chooses to retain what makes sense. Okay. So this is the second part, filtering. Now the third part is about comprehending. So this listener understands what the speaker has tried to convey. Now the listener is understanding. This activity can be described as absorbing, grasping, or assimilating. The listener uses his knowledge and experience, perception, and cognitive power. So this is something very unique, students. So comprehension means that you have judged. You have judged the things and you have understood what is really wanted by me and what is not wanted by me. And now you have gained a knowledge, an experience, and then the perception of and then cognitive power of particular concept, and you are understanding that very well. Now this is the next part, step is remembering. So these are the steps involved in listening. So the assimilated message is stored in memory to facilitate future recall. Just remember, students, whatever we hear or listen, it is not in vain. Our mind actually keeps the part of our content concept in subconscious mind, conscious mind. So whenever the teacher is actually relating to the previous knowledge, the idea is like that the students are connecting that present knowledge, new knowledge, to the previous knowledge. So this is that their storage is there in their memory, and they recall that and then immediately recognize, okay, this is the thing that we have studied earlier. Okay. So then after responding to a message takes place at the end of the communication, immediately after, to show that the message is being received and comprehend. Now in WhatsApp era, when you if you listen to a audio sound or anything, then after, if you listen well and if you have understood well, you just give a thumbs up emoji or not. So this is something responding. Okay. So these were the steps we have discussed. Now let's have a look very briefly on types of listening also. So what are the types of listening? Number one, it is discriminative learning. listening, sorry, and then comprehension listening. Then third one is evaluative listening. So number one, discriminative listening, it involves identifying the difference between various sounds. It enables one to differentiate between familiar and unfamiliar languages. There are many same sounding words in Hindi language, of course, and English language also. But the art to how to differentiate that is called discriminative listening. So this is something, students, that if I join S and S and S together, I actually perceive the sound S and H. S for Sonipat and H for Haryana. I just discriminate these sounds. But when I combine them, I also able to discriminate as H is sure, that is from shallow. Okay, so discriminating is making the difference between various sounds what you are listening or hearing at the initial stage. Now comprehension listening, this is the second type of listening, and it involves attaching meaning to what is being intended to the listener. So, what is being listened to and what is actually conveyed by the speaker? Are you attaching the meaning with that? It may also include comprehending the non-verbal messages being conveyed by the speaker. So, this is comprehension listening. Now, next comes evaluative listening. Evaluative listening is something, students, involves evaluating and analyzing the message being received. This is actually, again, you just try to follow the sequence when we are hearing. So when the real listening we are talking about, so types of listening will also be actually interlinked with that. When we discussed about real listening, we saw that we included 3 steps. First one was hearing, second was understanding, and third part was understanding. So now when we are looking at the types of listening, so first one is discriminative listening. So discriminative listening is actually enabling you to hearing properly with recognizing the sounds. And then comprehension listening is enabling you to understand those sounds. And then evaluative listening is actually enabling you to evaluate or analyze the message what you have received. Now you are judging that is it useful for me or not, and after judging you are accepting it or discarding it. That is also up to you. So what is said depending on how logical one finds it to be. So I'm accepting or not accepting, that is dependent on my evaluative listening. Okay, I hope you have understood this much. Now another types of listening, let's have a look on them. Attentive listening. It involves paying attention to the words that are being spoken. So whatever is spoken, the child or the student is very much attentive and not losing the focus. So this is being attentive. Then pretense listening. What is pretense listening? Students, it involves more hearing than listening. Okay, but you are just hearing the sounds. It means pretending through facial expressions, pretending you are just pretending, okay, but actually you are not paying attention. The one is listening when actually one is not. So it is pretense listening. So just check yourself. Do you do the pretense listening? Sometimes in the classroom that your teacher is speaking to you and you are just nodding your head and pretending that I'm listening. Okay, just check it yourself. So then after that, selective listening. Selective listening, students, involves selecting the desired part of the message and ignoring the undesired part of the message. This is somewhat related to evaluative listening. But in evaluation, you analyze everything. But in selective listening, sometimes your mood is also actually the main cause for selection of listening material or not. I don't want to listen this type of song today. No, I'm not in mood. So I'm ignoring other part. So this is selective listening. Then intuitive listening. Intuitive listening means through intuitive mind by silencing the other forms of internal dialogues going on simultaneously. Sometimes it happens that you are listening something, but when you are listening something, then along with that your intuition says so many things to you, but you are actually silencing them because you want to listen to that particular part of material, spoken material only. So this is intuitive listening. Now, definitely, there are some barriers to effective listening, students. So, physical barriers are there, people related barriers are there, psychological and physiological barriers are there. So, let's discuss them one by one. Physical barriers includes when we are feeling something physically around us. So, if you have noise around you, you will not be able to listen properly. Then poor acoustics is also responsible for physical barriers, and you will not be able to listen properly. Then defective mechanical devices, maybe your phone is not working properly, maybe your devices are not working properly, your speaker is not working properly, and then you're not able to listen to that particular material in a proper way. Frequent interruptions, when you are listening something, interruptions are there, then even then it will disturb your listening. Uncomfortable environment, then message converted, what it is like that. So something that you are overloading or something uncomfortable is when you are feeling it, it also creates a hindrance in listening skill. So these were some physical barriers we have discussed about. Now let's see about physiological barriers also. So this is state of health, first of all, and then disability, and then wandering attention. These are all related to physiological barriers. Now, state of health means state of health of the listener and the speaker affects the listening ability. Fever, pain, or any other form of bodily discomfort makes it difficult for a person to listen or speak comfortably. So this is a barrier, of course, in listening skill. Then disability. Hearing deficiency may lead to poor listening students. Similarly, speech disorders are there. And if the speaker is with the speech disorder, he may make a speech incoherent to the listener. So, speaker's accent may also make it difficult for the listener to comprehend. If speaker's pronunciation is not proper, then listening skill is actually get barred. Then wandering attention, this is the major barrier that we are feeling. Human mind can process words at the rate of about 500 per minute. Yes, 500 per minute. Whereas a speaker speaks at the rate of about 150 per minute. So it's a pretty big difference. The difference between the two leaves the listener with sufficient time to think more and more. And this is actually the reason why the student gets distracted. Okay. Now, psychological barriers are also there. So being unsure of the speaker's ability, if you are not sure that my teacher is going to explain this thing very properly, then this will keep you disturbing and this will keep you distracting all the time, because maybe you are having your past experiences or inputs from sources. The listener may have preconceived notion also of the speaker's ability. Then the listener may perceive the speaker to not to be well informed or to be lacking in depth and ability. Hence, the listener will not listen to what the speaker has to say. So nowadays, the students are more relying on Google Baba, as you have given the term. All the students are actually calling this Google Baba very much intelligent than the teacher. So it should not be like that, students. Personally, my advice to you. Then personal anxiety is another psychological barrier, that sometimes the listener is preoccupied with personal concerns and anxieties. Maybe the person is very, very stressful. This makes it difficult to perceive what is being said by the speaker. Then attitude. The listener may be highly egocentric with a know it all attitude. I know everything what you are going to tell me. So, this type of attitude is sometimes very dangerous for becoming more aware, becoming more knowledgeable, becoming more experienced for new things. If you keep telling yourself, I know everything, don't tell me. So, this is not a good situation, not a good psychological situation. And this is the thing that the listener may not listen as he feels that he already knows so much about the things. Okay, so these were the psychological barriers we have discussed. Now, psychological barriers again, impatience. Sometimes students lose the patience. How much we are going to listen? How long is the class? So the listener may not have patience to wait for the other persons to finish what he has to say. He may be intolerant or may be eager to add his own points to the discussion. As a result, his desire to speak overcomes his desire to listen. So, speaking becomes more prominent by that time when the listener is actually becoming impatient. So, thus acting as a barrier, now the listening is actually then gets disturbed. Then, emotional blocks. A deep seated belief in certain ideas may make it difficult for us to listen to ideas which go against our belief. We may hear such an idea wrongly or it may get distorted in our mind to match our perception, or we may completely block it off by not listening to it. Many a time we block something off completely. I'm not going to think about it because of painful memories associated with it. So that time we are not listening anything. It also gets disturbed by that time. Now, students, some tips I'm giving you for being a good listener. So, first of all, give your full attention on the person who is speaking. Don't look out the window or door or what else is going in the room. You just listen very, very attentively to the person who is speaking to you. Then make sure your mind is focused. Now, students, it can be easy to let your mind wander if you think you know what the person is going to say next. But you might be wrong in that way. You all the time you cannot be correct at what, okay, now the ma'am is going to talk next this way or that way. Maybe surely she or he is going to talk that way only as you have thought. But the concept is being changed. If you feel your mind is wandering here and there, just focus that. Change the position of your body, sit properly, sit appropriately, and choose a proper comfortable chair or the way you like to sit, and try to concentrate on speaker's words. Only then you will be a good listener, students. Okay, now the third tip from my side is to let the speaker finish before you begin to talk. So when actually speakers appreciate having the chances to say everything they would like to say without being interrupted. It is really very nice when you give the chance to the speaker to speak as much and how much the speaker wants to speak, and you are not disturbing the speaker. So, when you interrupt, it looks like you are not listening at all, even if you are really doing that. So never ever interrupt your speaker and the teacher or anyone else, your elder or anyone around you who is speaking to you. First, let the speaker finish and then you begin with your own talk in a humble way, of course. So these are the tips you just remember, students. Next tip from my side, let yourself finish listening before you begin to speak. So, on the contrary situation is with you. You can't really listen if you are busy thinking about what you want to say next. If all the time you are thinking, okay, I will say, ma'am, I will say this, ma'am, I will say this. No, you cannot listen well. You first listen properly. Okay. Now, next tip from my side, listen for main ideas. The main ideas are the most important points the speaker wants to get across. They may be mentioned at the start or end of the talk and repeated a number of times. Pay special attention to statements that begin with phrases such as, now students, my point is, the thing to remember is, now just pay attention on the main ideas. So this is another very important tip for all of you. Now, next step is ask questions. Yes, of course, ask questions. If you are not sure, you have understood what the speaker has said. See, students, if you are not understanding, then you will not be able to go to the next step, that is judging or evaluating. So, if you are not understanding, you just ask question from your speaker. For example, you might say, when you said that two zebras are alive, did you mean that stripes are really looking same or different? So this is the another tip for you. Give feedback. Yes, sit up straight and look directly at the speaker. Now and then, not to show that you understand, at appropriate points, you may also smile, frown, laugh, or be silent. These are all the ways to let the speaker know that you are really listening. Remember, you listen with your face as well as your ears. So, body language is playing an important role when it comes to facial expressions. So, give your feedback, give your proper expressions that you are understanding, and this will only be enabling you if you do proper listening. Okay, students, now these are some references for your purpose. If you want to see and study more content about listening skills, you can go through that. Now, there are some MCQs. Let's understand them. First is, listening means to respond to advice or request. So it is true or false. So the answer is true, because the listening means to give one's attention to what others say. It also means to respond to advice or request, of course. Now, question number 2, which of these is not a step in the listening process? A, to stop talking, receiving, misinterpreting, and D, responding. So correct answer is leading towards the option C, misinterpreting. Listening consists of 4 main steps. They are to stop talking, receiving, interpreting, and responding. Here is different from listening. Now, question 3, which of these is the first step in listening process? Stop talking, receiving, interpreting, responding. So, explanation of this correct answer is A, is stop talking. So, being a good speaker isn't everything. Being a good listener is also important, students. For that, one has to know when to stop talking. If you will stop talking, only then you will be listening properly. Not only is it respectful towards the speaker, it also enables the listener to gather more from the speech. One must keep quiet when speaker has begun his speech. Okay, students. Now, next question is about which of these is the third step in the listening process. So, answer is B, interpreting. So, interpreting is the third step in the listening process. After listening to talk seriously and noting important points, interpret the contents of the speech. Then fifth question is, dash is the last step of the listening process, and it is about C, responding, of course. Okay, so because responding is the last step of the listening process, one way to respond is to ask question to the speaker. Okay, now next is, hearing means perceiving with ears. True or false? Yes, of course it is true. The statement is completely true. Hearing means perceiving with ears. It is the effort to decipher the phonetic sound from the speaker. It is a physical act. So now this is all about from my side, students, on listening skill, and I hope you have understood about what is listening skill, what are its types, and how listening skill is very very important for a learner of English language. So I hope you have learned well, and just my advice to all of you, just prepare well for your all skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and understand their importance. Okay, students. So take care and stay safe, all of you. Have a nice time.